Like before we would get so worried about like the newspaper critic coming in
Right.
and it's like, okay, but you only got reviewed twice a year or
And that was
whatever,
by
right?
someone who was a proven
A
writer.
professional,
And
right.
yeah.
And now you're getting reviewed every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah. By anybody.
By anybody. Everyone's a critic. Everyone has an opinion. And it's like they say, everyone, they're like, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them and they all stink.
That's correct.
Anyway.
Yeah. And well, I mean, and this is a joke that I make all the time with Open Table when I talk to them. I was like, we should have a way to review the guest back, because the things that guests have done in restaurants sometimes deserve a review. You're a little bit like,
do you have like a revenge list going? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, like especially at Eberly, there was
angry guest 357.
It wasn't even that. It would just be like, whether they were doing something inappropriate or whatever it was. Like, we are expected to keep that secret. We're expected to preserve that, right? They could throw up anywhere. I mean, the number of bodily fluids that it's just insane, right?
Yeah.
And you're expected as a restaurateur, as a person in the industry, to kind of like preserve their anonymity and like, this is a safe place. I'm making a safe place for you to be whatever you're going to be. If we have to call you an Uber home, if we have to help you, if you stumble, whatever it is, right? You chip your tooth doing something you shouldn't be doing. We do that. But we overcook a steak and all of a sudden it's like, that is fully on blast. That is a #1 review on Google for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you're just like, man, like, really?
Yeah. People get nasty with those reviews. And it's funny. Like, I often tell people, like, you're not going to, and I didn't make this up, but you're not as bad as people say, but you're also not as good as people say
Correct.
either, right? Like,
yes.
your shit stinks too, just like everyone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's, and that's what I love about being a chef. I think it's one of the last meritocracies. Like, you're good at it and it's something you have to be good at every day. It's not something that you just comes naturally. It's something you have to be good at every single day.
Yeah. What's the expression? You're only as good as your last meal, but also the reverse is true. You're also as good as your next one.
Correct.
You have, it's the one industry. Well, it's not the one industry, but we're in it. So I'll say it's the one industry.
That's our audience.
Yeah. It's our audience. It's the one industry where, you have a complete redemption arc every single plate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was an asshole yesterday. Today, perfect.
Right.
Right.
Like minute to minute. I mean, like really just getting that opportunity. I remember being a young cook and like, I would like, fuck up a steak or something. And I'd be like, okay, but not the next steak. Like you have an opportunity to stop that sort of, that complete free fall right then. And that's what I've always loved about it is that, sometimes you do a dinner and you're like, man, that sucked. And then other times you do and you're like, man, I was really great, but it's about the next one and it's about that constant pursuit. And I think that's the thing that I really want to get across to younger people who are, getting in the industry or even people who are transitioning into the industry is just, it's about you and it's about what you push yourself to do every single day. And if you're expecting someone to just give you that education, you're missing the point, right?
So if we're going to give a young culinarian or young chef advice, what would be like your chef's PSA, from you?
My chef's PSA. I think it's really just to stay humble. Like, I think, even as high as I've risen in various ways in the industry and not just in TV, but like, when that first time you fight and you're the lead line cook, the first time you get to work pasta and like, you're the one, right?